Okay, welcome back. I'm going to start reading the second reading of Where is this place called Vietnam, and here we go. So this will be called Where is this place called Vietnam 2. The previous one will be called 1, and this will be called 2. So here we go. Aquarius pours into the San Diego morning from La Jolla in the Gulf and from Catalina. Sharks swim near the surface, feeding in the ocean kelp. The land most likely to slip into the ocean someday and become the new Atlantis cannot be adequately described by any of its parts. Moses Malone and the Houston Rockets are somewhere in the future. Ishi is dead, and so is the anthropologist who courted him. The surface of the moon is being readied for the lunar landing module, which will bring the Flintstones into the space age. Grumman workers are fashioning the Land Rover out of 100 million hours of overtime spent sleeping at their desks and stamping inspection papers. Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds is a big success, and as usual, wild dogs are a continuing threat. Many of the country's soldiers and sailors read the Stars and Stripes to find out how many stars they can get on their expedition medals. Dennis has gone to the ship's library and looked at a world atlas in an attempt to locate Vietnam. He had an idea that it was in the Mideast, but the chaplain who ran the library said it was somewhere south of Japan and added boastfully that it was, to a great extent, a Catholic country. I know not any Vietnam, only a map and an atlas, light green, washed out orange, and yellow. So he asked Bob, "Why are we in Vietnam?" Bob had all the political savvy in the group. He bit down on his cigar and quoted from the little red book he had picked up in Hong Kong. To act without understanding and do so habitually without examination, following certain courses all their lives without knowing the principles behind them. This is the way of the multitude. Thus assured, Dennis went out on the missile frigate's fantail and smoked a joint. Bridge. Fantail bridge, go ahead. Sea bats off the stern, lots of them. Sea bats? Sir, Fantail reports sea bats off the stern. Bridge. After steering, what's sea bats? Knock it off. Bridge. Engine room. Did anyone report sea bats? Quiet on the line. Engine room. This is after steering. Do you know where sea bats live? No. In cliffs along the coast of Vietnam? No. Where's Vietnam? Up your ass, man. Where'd you think? Quiet on the line. What time is it? Half past a cow's ass. Shit. Fantail, engine room. What's for breakfast? 4 skins and toast. Bug water. The Navy sucks. In the opening moments of the Vietnam War, a Filipino bar girl spread her legs, and Bob Merely, a college dropout from Philadelphia, enriched her with some of his genetic information. He felt very big this way. When it came to the distributing of genetic information, Bob was never guilty of a look backwards, never doubting telescopic power of evolution to bring all men together in the form of a superior hybrid that would ward off diseases, be more white than black, and have oval eyes. He found it difficult to believe that Dennis and John rarely scored on the beach. But that was the great thing about sex. You had to do it for yourself. Your best buddy could not bark for you. Barking gave him the opportunity to excel, to have even his closest intimates look up to him. In a nutshell, after drinking, dipping the old wick was heaven. John was reading in a Time magazine about people in San Francisco who laid around in the streets wearing flowers in their hair. He thought maybe that's what he should be when he got out of the Navy. But first he would have to get out of the Navy. Also, he thought of becoming a mercenary. But he hated the idea of war and killing people. If only I could be a mercenary without shooting nobody. Imagine me wearing a Beretta and holding my machine gun walking into some second-rate country of slobs with all the women getting hot over me, and I would let them all live because I'm Catholic and believe in Jesus. Maybe I am Jesus. In fatigues, the Holy Ghost. Nobody can shoot me. The peasants' bullets go right through me, and I, with my machine gun blazing, start to float rhapsodically over the desert or jungle. Rhapsodically. Dennis received a letter from home one day telling him that his little sister, who did the Irish dances, had been raped one day while at school. He told his two friends about it over drinks at the Grandy Island EM Club. John got very upset. He said, "Why did they have to tell you that kind of depressing stuff while you're out here right in the middle of a war? Don't they got no feelings? I mean, here we are risking our lives, and you got to get depressing news from home." Bob ordered more salty dogs for them. Dennis made a note to kill the bastard who raped his sister. John said he would too, and Bob said, "What the heck, he might as well also." In Manila, Bob showed them how to enjoy the European-style restaurants while watching the brown peasants through the plaza on a Sunday afternoon. While watching the brown peasants walking through the plaza on a Sunday afternoon. Manila was exciting. Taxi drivers carried pistols, and one could see a shootout now and then on the various side streets. Many of the sailors were afraid to park in Manila because it was feared that one could catch exotic diseases from the local population. Bob didn't let this bother him, and when he got back to missile frigate, they had to lance his thing to let the pus out. John remembers vaguely getting drunk with someone who worked at the U.S. Embassy. The last night in Manila, Dennis did not go ashore. He said because he had a headache, but really, it seems, he wanted to be alone. The waters of Manila Bay were black and possessed of millions of what looked like floating worms. Why go ashore? And I'll stop there.